it's Wong, Olaniyi, and McGusty in the backcourt, with Walker and Nasir Brooks back into the starting lineup in the front court. Bert Smith, Jerry Heater, and Mark Schnurr officiating today. I'm Evan, Brian in the suite next to me here in Miami, and we are excited to tip off this Saturday in ACC basketball. 6 games on the docket, and here we go from the Watsco Center, and Brooks wins the tip against Aluma. Hurricanes in the white with the basketball first. An interesting, Brian, no Harlan Beverly in the starting lineup. He's been in the starting 5, 14 of their 17 games, so Wong initiates the offense on this first possession. Brooks trying to go at Aluma, forcing him to defend. He'll kick it for Walker. He's had that shot lately. Anthony Walker 4 of 7 from 3 his last few ball games, but 0 for 1 today. Yeah,
Evan, I think Miami, the success for them today is that they've got to be able to drive Virginia Tech and get into the basket. They're not one of the better three-point shooting teams in the conference, so you don't want to rely too much on that three-point shot today.
Jalen Cone hits Naheem Aline off the screen, and now the first touch for Aluma. 29 points last weekend, and then 30 on Wednesday, and an air ball to start things today.
Good possession, good defensive possession by Miami, and what they have to do is make sure that they guard Aluma by committee, limit them to one and done, and obviously they've got to stay on top of the three-point shooters from Virginia Tech.
Interesting, 60 seconds taken off the clock on those first 2 possessions. Mike Young says he wants this to be a half-court game. He doesn't want to try to get into a run-and-gun game with the Canes. Olaniyi off the mark, and Aluma grabs another rebound for the Hokies. Virginia Tech has never lost to Miami as a ranked team. They're a perfect 5-0 against the Canes when ranked. Miami leads the all-time series 24-18. Today, the 43rd meeting between these former Big East rivals. Jalen Cone back rims the 3. Isaiah Wong grabs the rebound.
Miami doing a good job of switching all of the picks and screens. That way they always have an active defender in the front of a three-point shooter. You saw Jalen Cone come up short.
Walker on the drive this time, and both teams are still scoreless 2 minutes in. Wabisa Bede, Mike Young calls him his most valuable player, despite the fact Aluma is getting first-team All-ACC consideration. Great defense by Brooks. Justyn Mutts put it on the floor. That was not a wise decision, and the loose ball scooped up by Wong for Miami.
Scrappy defense by Miami, and again, you see with Brooks being a little bit more physical with Aluma, not allowing him to be able to bully him down there.
Impressive defensive intensity for both teams early. This early tip-off. Beatty's on Wong. Pestered well. That shot makes Miami 0 for 4 now.
And Evan, if you're Virginia Tech, you want to keep Miami on the perimeter because, again, we talked about them not being a great three-point shooting team, and then Beatty is one of those guys that's a lockdown defender, being able to keep the ball right in front of him.
Who's going to break the ice for us, Brian? Will it be Naheem Aline? Doesn't look like it. Jalen Cone with 2 to shoot, blocked, and shot clock expired before the ball hit anything out of bounds. So the Hokies are 0 for 3 with 2 turnovers.
Well, Miami doing a good job, and you see that last time Walker recovering again at 6'7", being able to get to that shot by Jalen Cone. Miami doing a good job of being able to switch on the perimeter and stay in front of those guys. Doing a good job also of challenging those shots.
Officially 0 for 3 with 3 turnovers. Cam McGusty from the corner. No, sir. Cone had the rebound, fumbled it away, and it finds Mutts.
The strength for Virginia Tech is obviously getting the ball inside. Even with Aluma, Justyn Mutts is another one of those guys that you post him up and give him an opportunity to post up and put the ball on the floor.
Spirited defensive effort from Miami at the outset here. You can say the same thing about Virginia Tech, but Aluma finally breaks the seal, gets two a little over 4 minutes into the ball game.
Well, I like the fact for Aluma, he faced Brooks up and realized that he can get to the shot. You'll see during the game. A guy that can shoot that ball over that left shoulder and the right shoulder with both hands.
Aluma with the defense at this end of the floor, and it's saved by Aline. I mean, Keve Aluma has been a 93-foot player and a revelation to most in the ACC. And I think to Mike Young as well, because certainly Mike Young didn't expect him to score 15, 16 points a game.
When I like his mindset, you know, I saw in a quote after the Pitt game, he's saying that, hey, I've got to do what I got to do to give my team a chance to win. And that's me being aggressive. And you can tell that as of late, not only is he hunting his shot, but he's taking advantage to be very precise on where he shoots the ball.
Brian, don't want to jinx this, but we're on pace for a really quick game. We have not had a foul yet. And is that a timeout call by Mike Young? I believe it was. So that'll give us our first timeout. A little over 5 minutes gone. The two teams
dominate inside, dominate the paint. You know, we talked about Aluma and Mutts being those guys that can create issues for Miami. And for Miami, shot makers, not shot takers. And it looks like earlier on for Miami, they're more shot takers than shot makers.
Well, there hadn't been a maker yet. Hurricanes were talking about the possibility of maybe getting Chris Likes back today, but he is not in uniform. Did practice the last couple of days. They're thinking he's getting closer to returning, but today is not that day. Justyn Mutts goes right at Nasir Brooks, and everything but the bucket. Here's McGusty drawing contact, and he will get the first free throw attempts of the game. Brian, I'm curious to ask you, personally, I feel like the defenses have just been really good so far. It's not like the offenses have been that inept. Do you agree?
I would agree. And again, for those of you watching the game, it seems like it's really ugly, but you've got both teams playing solid defense. For Virginia Tech, that's what they do. They're going to be aggressive on the perimeter. They're going to lock down the lane. Miami has done a good job of being able to switch all of the perimeter stuff and limit Virginia Tech early.
And now a quick word from Works.
Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
Foul was called on Naheem Aline. And McGusty drains a pair to tie the game up at 2. The 2-0 lead is not going to stand, Brian. Aluma inside at Brooks again. Chance for an and one. Aluma continues to make plays inside for the Hokies.
And again, for Virginia Tech, doing a good job of being able to get Aluma deep on the box. That last time you saw a cross screen for him. You see right there, getting him deep, a deep post, and again, being able to finish with the contact. That's one of the things that when we spoke with Coach L, he was really concerned with, and how they defend Aluma, because he's a guy that's been efficient. Off to a good start for them.
He's got all 5 for Virginia Tech. Dengak into the game for the first time for Miami, replacing Nasir Brooks.
Dengak's been one of those guys as of late. Been very active for Miami, especially around the rim and being able to finish on those dump-offs and offensive putbacks.
Sure has. McGusty. Well, it's Aluma with 5, McGusty with 4 through 6 minutes today at the Watsco Center.
And a nice play, you saw Walker come and set that pick and give McGusty a run at the rim. He's another one of those guys with his ability to shoot the ball outside. Makes the defense have to play him for that drive or the 3. The pull up for him.
Hunter Cattoor is in the game for Mike Young's Hokies. Double comes on Mutts, so he'll reverse it for Beatty. Shot clock's at 1. Aluma finally realizes it, grazes iron, and Wong has another rebound for the Canes.
Great possession by Miami.
Yikes.
Bad pass by Wong.
Wong still has not taken a field goal attempt, the leading scorer for the Canes. On the drive, Mutts hits the cutting Aluma for the stuff.
And that's another thing about Justyn Mutts. You know, he's going to put his player down in the post, but he's a guy on the perimeter can put the ball on the floor. You see a nice blow by, force the help, good read by getting a slashing Aluma to the basket.
You'd think Mutts and Aluma have played together for years, the way they have chemistry together inside.
Well, I love Mutts and his versatility, especially being about 6'8".
Wong's first shot, rims out. Gak on the glass, puts it back up and in.
And again, we talked about Dane Gak and what he's meant for this ball club. As of late, this is a guy that hadn't had much time playing the last 3 years, but this year, more active around the rim, again with his length. Good offensive rebound and putback.
Contact inside. And Dane Gak, 11 of his last 17. More points in the last 4 games than he had in his previous 11. Offensive foul on Ali, and that's his second.
If you look at Miami and what they've lost in Sam Wardenberg and then Rodney Miller, then to be able to have a Dane Gak come in and play as well as he has of late, again, makes Coach L's life a lot easier because, again, gives him somebody that can crash the boards and then someone with length on the defensive end.
Auguste working on Cattoor. It's Mutts on Walker. Here's Harlan Beverly. And now Gak, who's had the hot hand lately, over Aluma. No good. The rebound for Justyn Mutts.
Virginia Tech does a good job of being able to cut off the dribble penetration. You saw 3 guys try to get into the lane, good help and recover, and not allowing them to be able to have a free run at the rim.
Joe Bamisil, not bashful off the bench. Rebound McGusty. Gak again. No, it won't stay down for him.
Not a great finish, but I love the fact that Gak saw an opportunity to slip there.
Brian, we are 8.5 minutes into the game. Only 3 players have scored. Aluma has all 7 for the Hokies. Auguste and Gak have the points for Miami. Beatty trying to get it on the act. No.
And if I'm Miami, I'll allow Beatty to have that shot. You know, he's a guy that's not a good three-point shooter.
On the drive, McGusty off the glass.
And again, Cameron McGusty, he's that guy again because you have to honor the three-point shot. Really active and strong around the rim. Off to a good start.
Miami has its first lead, up 8-7. Hunter Cattoor, he can't leave him open. He'll make you pay.
You saw Harlan Beverly caught sleeping. Good read by Justyn Mutts. Cattoor is one of those guys averaging almost 14 a game over the last 3.
18 for his last 37 from 3, just a shade under 50% in his last 8 games, including today. Isaiah Wong. Wong's 0 for 2. Mutts looking for Aluma. Double comes immediately, and the cutting man, Bamisil, takes the dish from Aluma and scores.
And Evan, one of the things that makes the bigs for Virginia Tech so good in Aluma and also Mutts is that you see both of them very good passers, especially out of the low post. We've seen on multiple occasions both guys diving up their teammates.
Auguste has been the aggressor for the Miami offense. He's got 6 of their 8 points. Meanwhile, Keve Aluma, 7 points, a couple of rebounds, and now this assist to Bamisil. Hokies by 4 midway through the half.
Treat yourself to $7.99 Sundays at the Fresh Market, featuring bone-in New York strips.
10 minutes today, Brian. The Honda Startup presented by Honda Dealers of the Carolinas. And Aluma has been the energy guy early for Virginia Tech.
Hey, one of the things we talk about him is his ability to be able to score, and put the ball on the floor. He can put, guards and forwards in difficult positions. I like the fact that he's always active, does a good job of being able to finish over either shoulder. They struggled earlier, but they found some early offense, and Keve Aluma has been the guy to get them off started.
He's a human development major, and that seems appropriate because no one in college basketball has developed like he has the last few years, taking a redshirt year last year after a freshman season at Wofford where he played sparingly, averaged 2.5 points, 3.5 rebounds a game, and I mean, Virginia Tech fans certainly familiar with his story. Didn't play much basketball until high school, was a soccer player as a kid, center back for his youth soccer team. Isaiah Wong, quick catch, and he'll draw the foul on Cattoor. And free throws coming for Isaiah Wong. They're 77% from the line.
You saw Isaiah Wong come off of that pick, and normally the inbounder should shade a little bit to allow the guy that's actually trailing him enough time to recover. Interesting to see if Isaiah Wong gets going. This is a guy, too, that, you know, has been the leading scorer for Miami, but if they're going to win this game today, they're going to need him to be able to step up and be able to get his offense going.
Scored double figures 6 straight ball games. Been in double figures all but 2 of his 17 games this year. He goes 1 of 2 at the line to bring Miami back within 3.
With no Keve Aluma on the floor, look for them to get Justyn Mutts more involved, especially in the low post.
Mutts, Beatty, Cattoor, and there's a turnover. Wong the steal. Isaiah off balance, gets it
nice.
to go.
I mean, again, you look at what Isaiah Wong has been able to do throughout the year. I mean, this guy with no Chris Likes for most of the season has been able to be not only a shot maker, but the leader for Miami and coming up with defensive plays, too.
Bamisil off the catch.
See Bamisil comes off the bench, hunting his offense. Again, you can tell when he comes off that screen, trying to get that left foot shot set so he can get that jump shot.
Joe Bamisil, as you said, looking for his shot. First ever ACC points here in the first half for Bamisil. All of his points had come in the non-conference. Going back to the freshman who scurries to the bucket. Nice move, but he couldn't finish. Wong the other way, 1 on 3. Excellent defense by Beatty. Mutts diving on the floor.
You see Mike Young over there, and that's what he wants. He wants his guys to be grimy. He wants them to be able to get on the floor. And how about you see getting on the floor for it. Again, Beatty is that guy. He disrupts the play. Again, may not be glamorous because he's not scoring the points, but he's definitely the leader of this Virginia Tech defense.
Hey, Brian, do those tights that Mutts is wearing prevent him from getting all the raspberries on his knees that I got when I was a kid?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wish those were around back in my day. I can't believe I just said back in my day. That means I'm officially an old dude.
I could have told you that. But you can still knock it down from 3. I've seen you shoot.
Am I going to have to Corey Alexander you today?
No, calm down. You're my friend. Corey's my adversary at all times. At least according to him. Cattoor, nice dish. Aluma back in the game. Met well at the rim, though, by Gak.
Good defense by Gak, and what he did is that he went straight up as he saw Aluma coming to the basket again. His length has been really big. You see Cameron Auguste being able to fill it up.
And Auguste's got 8 here in the half. 8 of Miami's 11. Auguste and Aluma really the only guys, and Bamisil maybe, that have it going offensively so far. Hassan gives it to Aluma. Brooks back in defensively. Hassan thought about it. Aluma always under control. Nice baseline feed. Hassan's shot wouldn't go. And a rebound for the big man Brooks.
Great defense. You saw Brooks shade the baseline, trying to force the help there.
What's impressed you most about the defensive effort from both teams so far?
Well, I think from Miami, how they're guarding Aluma. And then you see Gak with the travel. But with Virginia Tech, you know they're going to be physical. They're not going to allow you to get to everything. And you see as we go to commercial, both teams back and forth. Virginia Tech with a narrow 1-point lead.
Certainly has not been a day at the beach so far for Virginia Tech or Miami. Hard fought, 13 minutes played. Jim Larenega's team trailing by 1. Hurricanes, it was hard to believe they performed as well as they did on Monday night against Duke. Their previous 4 games before that were all double-digit losses. They had a quick turnaround after losing at Wake. Isaiah Wong had turned his ankle at the end of that game last Saturday. Looked no worse for wear on Monday night, though, and they just played a great game against Coach Krzyzewski and the Blue Devils on Monday.
Well, and I think that when we talked about the guys that produce for them, you know, their ability to be able to drive the ball and finish, I think they put Duke on their heels early, and then they just out-toughed him. I thought when I saw that game, they were just too tough for him. But
Coach K called his team soft after the game. Miami shot 61% in the second half. They were 5 for 6 from 3 after halftime against the Blue Devils. Lean back in with 2 fouls, way off. He has been chilly lately.
One of the things that I'm impressed with Miami, if you see Brooks guarding Aluma, he's shading him to the baseline with baseline help. Miami has decided that they're going to make sure that they have a second defender to help out.
Beverly on the drive, gets it to go after it dead end off the bracket.
Miami doing a better job of being able to get to the lane, and what they're doing, Evan, is they're shifting the defense by good ball movement back and forth. That last time you were able to see penetration by Beverly in the finish.
Third lead change of the half. Mutts saw a lane and takes it for 2.
You saw the defender go off, and he saw the backside help there, leaving Mutts wide open. Good recognition by Aluma.
Mutts has been so good lately, hasn't he?
Yeah, again, I just like the fact that he's efficient. He lets the game come to him. You know, a guy can score down low, and I like the fact that as a big guy can definitely read the defense and make the good pass, too.
Cam McGusty buries a 3. He's in a double figures with 11 of Miami's 18.
And you can tell by the way he's putting the ball down that he's feeling himself, realizing that, hey, he can get the shot that he wants. He's trying to set him up that last time. Hunter Cattoor, who's a really good defender, has to not get caught reaching for the ball.
Cattoor, better shooter than he is a defender, and he buries his second 3.
Again, Cattoor, one of the guys that's been shooting the ball extremely well from behind the arc. I like the fact that he came off of that screen ready to shoot. A lot of times with shooters, you gotta make sure you get your feet set. Good pass into that shooting pocket.
All of a sudden, Brian, these two teams can't miss. Miami has hit its last 3 shots. That pass that time looking for Brooks. Justyn Mutts, we're talking about him with Mike Young this morning. He's listed at 6'7", which was a little surprising to see that because he plays bigger than that, kind of in a similar way that Tyrese Radford, who's currently suspended, is listed at 6'2", but plays bigger than that for Virginia Tech.
Well, and we talked earlier, too, about how teams can have their rhythm thrown off and how the season has been with the start-stops. You know, it's hard to develop chemistry, but when you look at the chemistry between Mutts and Aluma, you can tell that those are 2 guys that play well off each other. You see the high-low action.
Mutts.
And the and one by Mutts.
Tough inside maneuver from the Delaware transfer.
And what you see is that you see the high-low action, and you see Mutts, great position down there on Walker, being able to finish with the opposite hand. And that was one of the things, too, we talked about, the ability of Virginia Tech to put the pressure on Miami's defense by pounding the ball inside.
Mutts unable to complete the 3-point play. By the way, we mentioned Tyrese Radford. Virginia Tech releasing a statement before the game today that Radford has traveled with the Hokies for the first time since he was indefinitely suspended. Mike Young saying there is a path for him to return potentially this week, which is big news for Virginia Tech. Elijah Olaniyi goes baseline to the bucket.
Nice basket by Olaniyi, being able to drive the baseline and use the rim to shield off the defender. And that's another guy for Coach L's team that can create instant offense with his ability to put the ball on the floor.
Aluma trying to create some more instant offense. There's Tyrese Radford. Gator mask on. Certainly hopeful to get back in. He has, according to Mike Young, expressed remorse for what happened. That provoked his indefinite suspension. I encourage you to stick around. The Ford Fast Break is coming up some point in the second half, so keep an eye out for it. Aluma makes them both. He's got 9.
Evan, one of the things that Miami's been able to do in the first half is that do a better job with their ball spacing, and that allows them to be able to penetrate and force the help.
Last Saturday at Wake, Dengak made his first career collegiate three-pointer. Thought about taking one there. Instead, the cross-court pass sails into the Hokies bench. And Hurricanes turn it over for the 5th time. Hokies have 5 turnovers, too. We got ourselves a really competitive ball game. Here, point against Syracuse in January. Guy who's played over 100 games in his college career, starting at Oklahoma and now here at Miami. Seems like there are fewer guys who haven't transferred, Brian, than who have transferred. Aluma's tip would not go. And Olaniyi, I mean, we just mentioned Olaniyi, Aluma, Magusti. They've all transferred during their career, and obviously Justyn Mutts has.
And what you've seen is that players are realizing that they get to a place and it may not be a particular fit, and take an opportunity. You see
another
move.
transfer. Nasir Brooks, the former Bearcat, floats it in.
Nice move by Brooks, being able to go with that little baby hook there. Miami doing a good job of getting stops and being able to capitalize on the other end.
Aluma, extra defender came at him. We're basically seeing, as Aluma rises for 3-0, Wabisa Beattie's defender is leaving Beattie to go double.
And what Miami is doing with they're being physical with Brooks on the other end. You see a nice little pass.
Brooks can't finish.
Brooks couldn't finish. But back to Miami. They're pushing Aluma off the box, and then they're shading him with another defender, realizing that they'll go ahead and double off of Beattie.
Oh, nice drive to the bucket, Justyn Mutts.
And we talked about his ability to be able to finish. Mutts being able to split the defense.
Mike Young's the one that called the timeout.
You see Justyn Mutts being able to get through with a nice little Euro step through and left Nasir Brooks there. Nice penetration. Again, I really like Justyn Mutts and just what he does for this Virginia Tech team.
Mutts, 12 points, 8 rebounds per game over the last 3, and that coincides with Radford's departure. Mutts has really stepped up his game, has had more opportunities offensively, taken advantage.
And here's one of the things that when you talk about Radford not being around is that it allows some of the other players to step up their game. And we've seen that in being Justyn Mutts. You may see Hunter Cattoor, and then also Jalen Cone. When he comes back, having him come in, because Radford is not a guy that you've got to run a lot of plays for. He plays off the team. He's very aggressive, and so he's going to fit right back into whenever he comes back.
Jalen Cone started this game, but he's only played 5 of the first 18 minutes, Brian. Has not scored. Gak gives it to Olaniyi. Tried to skip through the lane. Back outside, Gak lost it on his way to the rim, and it's an offensive foul. Mutts takes another charge.
Or you saw Dane Gak trying to penetrate right there. Mutts doing a good job of being able to rotate. Anytime you see a big put the ball on the floor like that, you see Mutts right there. And if Gak was paying attention, he would have stopped, gathered himself, could have had a nice little dump off there to Nasir Brooks.
First foul on Gak. There are only 7 total fouls for the 2 teams that have been called so far in the game. Aluma into double figures now with 11.
And Evan, that play was set by a great ball screen by Hunter Cattoor. Cross screen there. You see another timeout.
And this one's called by Jim Larrañaga. He hasn't liked the defensive effort over the past couple of possessions. So $1:33 to play in this first half. ACC has 3 coaches named Jim and 3 coaches named Mike. And we got Jim versus Mike here in Miami today. 2 guys that have been doing this for a long time as we take a look at today's ACC leaders, brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Here they are. Justin Champagnie leading the league in scoring and rebounding. Xavier Johnson scored 32 in the win over Virginia Tech. Sorry to remind Hokie fans of that. Notre Dame's Nate Laszewski and Georgia Tech's Jose Alvarado also on that list.
How about Justin Champagnie, a guy that leads the league in double-doubles, and then the fact that he was out with that knee sprain, came back and had some really big games for them.
Yeah, and he got a little bit lucky in the fact that Pittsburgh was on pause, 3 for Olaniyi. He only missed 2 games despite the fact that he was out 3-4 weeks.
I like the fact you saw Olaniyi knocking down that 3. That was set up by Wong being able to pull 2 defenders on that penetration to the baseline.
Beatty gets it to go. Jim Larrañaga kind of looked at the ceiling like, really? That one's going to go in?
Well, it seemed like that was a friendly rim right there, but going into the half, in Miami, you want to be able to get some kind of penetration, something at the rim.
Wong over Beatty. I'll tell you what, Beatty's done a really nice job on Wong here in the first half. And there's another 3 for Elijah Olaniyi.
And that play was set up by the offensive rebound by Nasir Brooks, giving Olaniyi an opportunity to be able to set up. Elijah Olaniyi has come up and he's stepped up and given Miami a nice little surge with his offense.
Yeah, quick little 6-2 run to bring the Hurricanes back within 1. Mutts draws contact. And I think it's going to be number 2 on Nasir Brooks.
And if you're Miami, you can't allow Justyn Mutts to be able to back down Olaniyi like that. You've got to send someone there to be able to force him to pass that ball. We talked about doubling off of a Beatty. You got to be able to get to him quick, especially as you go into the half with some kind of momentum.
So here's Mutts back to the line with just 15 seconds remaining in the half. Coming up at the half, we'll have our Toyota halftime report. Toyota-driven segment featuring Jim Larrañaga, 10th year coach at Miami. Also first half highlights and stats. If the Hurricanes win today, Jim Larrañaga will tie Gary Williams, the former Maryland and Boston College coach, for 36th all-time on the coach's win list. He's at 667 entering the day. 5 seconds left for Beverly to McGusty, and it's blocked by Cattoor, who is out of bounds. And there are 0.4 of a second for Miami.
How about that recovery by Hunter Cattoor being able to block that shot without fouling?
0.4 of a second. You can do a catch and shoot. Flip it inside. Defended well. Really good half for Justyn Mutts. He had 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Aluma had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. And the post players for the Hokies have been the difference. Miami, though, hanging tough. Hokies by 3 at halftime today, 31-28. But a lot of work to do, Brian Oliver, because Miami is a team that has not gone away. About 15 seconds away from the teams emerging to start the second half. And I'm curious to ask, we talk a lot about Aluma, how he can do it inside and do it outside. If you're Jim Larrañaga, which would you prefer? Do you want to make him a post guy or a perimeter guy?
Well, I think that what they've done is they being able to push him off the post. I thought earlier Brooks was doing a good job of being physical with him. And then what they're doing is they're shading him to the baseline with some offside help. I think that they have to continue to do that. And I think that for Virginia Tech, keep pounding the ball inside. If it's not to Aluma, they've been able to get the ball to Mutts. Miami's had some success at being able to spread Virginia Tech out, pass the ball, and get to the lane a little bit more often, and then force the help. And then as of late, we've seen them be able to find Olaniyi for a three-point shot.
Official stat keeper did take an assist away from Aluma and gave it to Mutts. So instead of having 11, 4, and 5, he's got 11, 4, and 4. And Beatty, a rare turnover to start the second half, looking for Aluma inside.
I thought that Beatty could be just a little bit more patient and allow Aluma to get himself set. A lot of times when guys are coming in and running a play, they don't allow the play to develop. Just a little bit more patience, allow him to be able to get his defender on his backside.
First turnover for Beatty. He's got about a 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio for the season. See if Isaiah Wong can get going. So far, it's been McGusty who's had the hot hand, and that continues.
How about the play by McGusty? He was able to freeze Beatty by coming off with a nice little fake over to Wong, nice little runner.
Before he went 2 for 12 on Monday against Duke, McGusty had scored 50 points in his previous 3 ball games. So he had been hot, struggled against Duke, rediscovered the stroke today. Oh, Justyn Mutts shows his outside touch. It's his first 3 since January the 12th.
I like the spacing of that last time. That play was set up by Olaniyi forcing the help and then getting over the Mutts to knock it down.
McGusty to the basket again.
Let's go.
Chance for a 3-point play for McGusty.
Miami coming out of the half, and you see run a nice little stagger for Cameron McGusty's second time. You see him being able to get there, and you see the weak side help.
Beg your pardon, they just called late basket interference, count on the basket, no foul. But McGusty with 15, including 4 in the first 70 seconds of the second half.
Evan, you've seen Miami run that same play back-to-back for Virginia Tech. That guy's got to hold long enough to allow the defender who's trailing to recover. Nice little curl by McGusty being able to get into the lane back-to-back.
I'll tell you, both these teams run good stuff. You can tell they've got smart guys coaching them. Here's Aluma rising for 3, left it short. And McGusty had the rebound and lost it. Mutts scoops it up. Aluma runs over Olaniyi, but his feet were in the restricted area, so it's a defensive block. And free throws coming for Keve.
Again, when you saw Aluma come in right there, big guys normally barrel over, and you see him gather himself, and like you say, Olaniyi was in that restricted area. I've really enjoyed the scrappiness from both teams on defense. You can tell Miami has come out and definitely been really aggressive, and for Virginia Tech, you see how aggressive they is. You see Aluma have that one roll out on him.
Now a quick word from Coyote Tractor.
At Coyote, we hold dirt in the highest regard. Coyote, we dig dirt.
1 of 2 at the line for Keve Aluma. Originally from Berlin, Maryland, a small town on Maryland's eastern shore on the Delmarva Peninsula. Isaiah Wong fouled by Beatty. That's a rare defensive mistake from Wabisa.
You saw Wong be able to get him over there, and Beatty normally is a guy that stays disciplined. That last time, hand caught in the cookie jar. You don't want to foul the shooter. You see Wong could get there with a little bit of separation. Beatty a little too aggressive, challenging that shot.
Isaiah Wong, the sophomore, one of 2 New Jersey natives in Miami's starting 5 today.
A lot of college coaches do. When you got a play that's working, go back to it. You've seen Miami run that same play 4 times in a row where they've gotten 3 baskets, and then when they've got a foul, good to see them go back to running that play to get them some offense.
Aline knocks down the 3. And Mike Young takes a quick timeout. Aline's 3 stretches the lead to 5, matching the largest of the game. 41-36. Virginia Tech in control.
I mean, one of the things we talked about is the fact that Miami has run this play where they've had the ISO with Wong and running a stagger for either McGusty or Olaniyi, and they've scored on all 4 of those situations. You saw 2 baskets by McGusty, 1 by Olaniyi, and another on the ISO where it allowed Isaiah Wong to be able to score. And again, if I'm Jim Larinaga, I keep running this play until Virginia Tech proves that they can stop it.
Hokies this year 3-0 after a loss. Haven't lost 2 straight since the tail end of last season. McGusty's 3 won't go, and Beatty grabs the rebound for the Hokies.
On the other end, Virginia Tech has had a lot of success by being able to run that screen-to-screener action, get the ball in the post.
Aluma surveys, finds Aline. Mutts fakes it. Looking for Aluma inside. He wasn't expecting the pass. Wong ahead for Walker to the basket and 1.
One of the things that we have not seen a lot from Miami is to be able to get out in transition, and that's what they want to do. Get a stop on one end, get the ball out and running. And then again, nice finish by Anthony Walker. Good push ahead and delivered by Wong.
Walker coming off a 16-point game against Duke. That's his first points of the day, and he completes a 3 points play. The Baltimore native makes it a 2-point game again.
Evan, one of the things that you're seeing a little bit more is that Miami is opting to go ahead and double in the post when they get the ball over to Aluma. Again, you see them playing off of Wabisa Bede, and that basically forces them to play 4-on-5.
And yet Bede's value defensively presumably is too much for Coach Young to take him out, or how does Bede take advantage of this at the other end of the floor?
Well, he's going to be able to take that shot as you see Aline get into the paint and knock down that shot. Not be afraid to shoot that. A lot of times, ball goes inside, maybe be an active picker and catch someone sleeping for a backdoor cut.
Bede has done a good job on Isaiah Wong, holding him to just 5 points. Only 1 field goal. Augusti's been the guy that's hurt Virginia Tech the most. Augusti and Olaniyi, who again unbelievably gets it to go.
And those are the two guys that we were highlighting going into the half, McGusty and Olaniyi. And you see that last time, good penetration by McGusty getting the ball over. And you see Miami being able to cut into that lead. Again, great penetration and finish by Olaniyi. Miami cutting it close, down by 2.
In the truck game, greatness is defined.
Well, these two teams met on December 29th in Blacksburg, where it is about 45 degrees colder today than it is here in Miami. In that game, Brian, the Hurricanes nearly overcame a 17-point second-half deficit. Miami was 54% from the floor for that game. It's the only time all year that an opponent has shot better than 50% against Virginia Tech, and yet the Hokies still won. Start the second half today. Miami's 5 of 6. How are they getting such easy looks?
Well, I think that they found the offense in Olaniyi and McGusty. And again, we talked about their sets and being able to spread Virginia Tech out. That's one of the things I think that they've made an improvement on at the half. And again, for Virginia Tech, I keep pounding the ball inside. Stay active and then force Miami to double if they're going to stay committed to that.
Foul before the break was on Bamisil, his first. Olaniyi now with 13 points. Hunter Cattoor, no, and a rebound pulled down by McGusty. Cam, coast to coast, no, tip, no. Loose ball scooped up by Bamisil. Missed opportunity there.
I want you to watch the next time when you see Aluma get the ball, how far Nasir Brooks is forcing him to get the ball off the blocks, being physical with him. Again, Aluma, if he's going to be off the block, either put the ball on the floor and try to get by him.
Catches beyond the arc this time, hits the cutting Cattoor. Rebound tipped by Walker, controlled by Wong. Wong sees an open lane, kicks it for Olaniyi. Virginia Tech ranked 16th in the nation. On Wednesday night, Brian, there were 5 different ranked teams that lost to unranked teams. So the Hokies were not alone in getting knocked off their ranked pedestal on Wednesday night. It's kind of the nature of college basketball this year. Seen teams pop into the polls and then pop out of the polls 1 week to the next.
Well, and again, we've talked about that as far as the momentum when you see teams due to the COVID protocol having to shut down and then not having advantage. You see good defense by Virginia Tech forcing Miami to call a timeout.
Yep, Cam McGusty was trapped. These are 2 of the teams, though, that have not had to really pause their schedules for protocols. They've had a little bit of interruptions, mostly due to other teams, but the Hokies, the Hurricanes, and the Tar Heels leading the league in games played entering the day. 17 games apiece. The Hokies 13-4. The Hurricanes are 7-10. The craziest thing, Miami among the league leaders in games played, also among the league leaders in different starting lineups because they've had so many guys in and out of the lineup.
Well, and I think that that's interesting when you look at Miami and how they've been decimated by injuries. You talk about obviously not having Chris Lykes. You talk about no Sam Wardenberg, Rodney Miller. Then you talk about not having Timberlake. They've had so many different starting lineups, and you can hear the frustration in Jim Larinaga's voice. We talked to him the other day. But I think right now, Miami has put themselves in a very good position right now to be able to be in control of this game.
Olaniyi unable to give Miami the lead with that fadeaway jumper. Yeah, Jim Larinaga was asked by local media yesterday, Jim, if you had everybody that you expected, where do you think you'd be in the ACC right now after playing almost everybody in the league? And the tough question is a nice jumper. Bamisil's been a revelation today.
I mean, look at Bamisil. When you see him get the ball, he is looking to get his off. I mean, you can tell from the beginning of the game, this is a guy that's come in, ultra athletic, has been able to be aggressive on the offensive end. Very active for Mike Young.
McGusty, double clutch layup won't go, but the rebound tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with Miami. Bamisil has 9 points today. Hadn't scored in an ACC game prior to today. And Jim Larinaga basically said, look, I liked my team. I thought we had good depth. I thought we had experience with all of our starters back.
I always like those if questions. I mean, my response to that is if ifs and nuts were beers and nuts, then you and I'd have a party. Or if I had those Powerball numbers, I wouldn't be sitting next to you right now.
Sure you would.
Nah, I love you, Ev.
Come on.
You see me somewhere with my feet in that nice Miami water that we showed earlier.
Couldn't leave the water for a couple of hours to join me for the ball game?
You know what? Now you're twisting my arm.
This isn't work. Come on. We're the luckiest guys in the building today.
I would agree. I would most definitely agree. I mean, especially when you look at how the season has gone and how many games we've been able to take part of and be in the arena. You and I are very fortunate.
Brooks inside. Good power.
Oh, Evan. Oh, my goodness. Talking about putting him on a poster. Oh, my. And that was set up by great recognition and getting the ball into Brooks and him having Aluma right there deep under the basket.
Caught it in the right spot and flushed it with authority. Bamisil finds Gasson. How about those two bench guys off Mike Young's pine? Creating offense.
And again, we've talked about Bamisil and how he's been in his game. I like the fact that you can see it in his face and his defensive stance. Taking advantage of the opportunity, being aggressive, normally scoring for himself, but that last time a nice dime. Get the ball over to Gasson.
Augusti again trying to get downhill. Here's Walker on the drive. And one official, Jerry Heater, is going to wave off the basket. It looked like Mark Schnurr was getting ready to signal and one. Jim Larinaga certainly thought it should count.
You see you see Anthony Walker going in the reach in right there. And you see that, but then on the other end, how about Brooks? You see how low he's got Aluma and then put him on the poster. Oh, my God. You know, to quote my daughter, that was just downright disrespectful.
Got to give Hayden Oliver a mention.
That's her thing, is that when she doesn't like something, she's going to call it disrespectful. And we see again.
Met by Gasson. And Brooks is going to get to the free throw line.
Nice recognition by Wong right there. You see two defenders, and then you see the recover. And you see Gasson. Love the fact that he comes over, he looks over and realizes that, hey, did I really foul him? But Nasir Brooks, you really like the fact that he's been a pleasant surprise for Jim Larinaga on both ends of the floor this year.
Great feature on Brooks, written by Michelle Kaufman in the Miami Herald earlier this week. Nasir, 10 siblings. His grandmother taught him how to make eggs early in life, and he fell in love with the kitchen. And he's aspiring to be the 7-foot chef that you've never met before. Jim Larinaga also just raves about Brooks, saying he's going to do great things for humanity. Currently interning with an organization called Empowered Youth, working with underprivileged kids. And there's a culinary program in Empowered Youth that Brooks slots into very nicely. Miami back within one. Cattoor for three. Got it.
Nice recognition by Beatty. Realize he's got Hunter Cattoor in it. You can't cheat on him. If anything, you've got to stay close to him, force him to put the ball on the floor. Good recognition. I like the fact that Cattoor took his time, come off that screen, get his feet set.
That doesn't feel like every time Miami gets within one or two, Virginia Tech's making a big shot.
See Virginia Tech being more aggressive with the guards on the perimeter.
Elijah gets it back outside for Beverly. Spinning on Cattoor, who defended it pretty well, but a better offensive play by Harlan Beverly.
And when you look at Miami now versus in the first half, Evan, they're doing a better job of being able to have their offense spread. then that forces the help. And that last time you saw Harlan Beverly be able to gather himself and get some separation between he and Cattoor.
Here's Cattoor again. Different result this time, and Wong grabs the board.
Olaniyi doing a better job of being able to follow him off of that stagger and challenge that three-point shot.
Tell you, Wong has only got 5 points, but he's got 6 rebounds and 6 assists in 23 minutes for Jim Larenega's Hurricanes. Walker's teased it up. And pretty good box out that time by Gasson on Brooks.
I would have liked to see Anthony Walker drive that ball right there because I think that he's best with being able to put the ball on the floor. That's a shot that Virginia Tech is willing to give him. Got to be willing to put a little bit more pressure and put the ball on the floor.
I think that's an excellent point by you. Here's Beatty. Beats the post. Aluma. Spinning baseline up and under. Too strong.
Nasir Brooks got to realize if he's got the double coming, he's got to protect that baseline.
Offensive foul called on Beverly to the dismay of the Miami bench. Aluma takes the hit. It's the foul. First foul on Beverly. You be the judge. Charge or block. They called it a charge.
You can't put a price on love. But if you did,
11 in the first half, and yet Virginia Tech has not trailed here in the second half.
Well, I think that coming out of the half is that Miami has decided that every time he gets the ball on the post, they're going to double. And that's going to force him to be able to make the extra pass. But what you've seen is that Virginia Tech has been able to make the adjustment. We've seen a couple of threes by Hunter Cattoor. Then you've seen other people from Virginia Tech step up. And I think that going into the gut of this game is that it's going to be some adjustments because you've seen back and forth each team being able to do a good job of being able to execute their offense.
20-6 in bench scoring. Lopsided bench scoring numbers on Wednesday in Pittsburgh because Xavier Johnson didn't start for the first time all year. Came off the bench and scored 32. On the drive, hanging in the air, Bamisile too strong. Mutts gets a rebound, kicks it to a wide open Beatty for three!
And he's got to shoot that shot. I mean, regardless if he's only less than a 29% shooter, he's got to shoot that shot to keep the defense honest. Good recognition by Mutts, get the ball out to the open man.
Beatty's now got 5 points for Virginia Tech. Oh, great defense there. Bamisile picks the pocket of Brooks, keeps his balance, takes it all the way to the cup.
And how about Bamisile? We talked about the fact that the guys have got to pick it up for Virginia Tech. He has been that guy coming up with that steal.
Breakout performance for Joe Bamisile, matching his career high with 11, doing it at both ends.
Bamisile being able to gather himself. We talked about how athletic he is, and since he's come out, been super aggressive. From Mike Young has been that shot in the arm. Again, you talked about not having a Jalen Cone. He basically has robbed those minutes from Cone for this game.
Yeah, sure has. Cone started, hasn't played in the second half though. He's only played 5 minutes all game. Isaiah Wong hasn't really gotten going so far today.
And if I'm Jim Larenega, that's not the shot we want. You know, we're down by 7. Virginia Tech has made a run. We want to get the ball inside again. I don't like that shot because you dance with the ball and you shoot a contested air ball 3.
Olaniyi coming back in, replacing Walker. 7-point gap now, as wide as it has been throughout the entire game.
If I'm Virginia Tech, I run either something to get Mutts the ball inside, or I'm running Cattoor off of a stagger to see if we can get a wide open 3.
They're going to Bamisile. He's had the hot hand. Little heat check. Ball came back to him. Ricochets for Gasson. The Dutch freshman creates another possession for the Hokies. Back to Bamisile. Was a big-time scorer in high school. 28 a game as a junior before he was hurt as a senior. Justyn Mutts.
Nice ISO for Mutts. You realize that he had the big and Nasir Brooks over there on the island being able to blow by.
7-0 run for Virginia Tech. And Jim Larenega has seen enough. He takes a timeout with 8:46 to play.
Again,
you mentioned Mutts. He can do it a variety of ways like Aluma.
And you see him being able to do the blow-by defense late on the recover. And a lot of times you get a big out there on the island with a guy like Justyn Mutts. We talked about him and his ability to be able to put the ball on the floor. and then finish, forcing the timeout and get Jim Larinaga to get his troops back together.
Mutts in a double figures for the 8th time this season. He's got 13 double figures in 3 of his last 4 games since Tyrese Radford went out with the indefinite suspension.
So, Evan, I think that when you look at Virginia Tech being up 9, there are 2 things that happened, because you saw that Miami seemed like they had the momentum. Virginia Tech couldn't stop. Virginia Tech picked up their defense on the perimeter, became more physical with them. Then they were able to get their looks inside by either getting the ball to Mutts, and you saw Hunter Cattoor, his ability to knock down the shot, had to keep the defenders from Miami a little bit more glued to him, allowing them to get the ball inside.
Brooks, the big man with Beverly, Wong, Olaniyi, and McGusty on the drive. Great defense by Beatty. He blocked it, and he touched it last as it went out of bounds.
And we've talked about Isaiah Wong not being a factor. A lot of that has been the defense of what BC Beatty, being physical, going straight up, and being able to challenge that shot. Beatty is one of those guys that when you put him on a defender, he stays there and stays disciplined. May not get all the glam and glitz for being the offensive guy, but definitely one of the guys that's the leader for them defensively.
Into Brooks. Not really the spot where you want to get him the ball. Shot clock's down to 4 now, and McGusty going to need to fire. I'm not sure he got it off. Raised the iron, rebound for Mutts.
Good defensive possession by Virginia Tech now. It looks like Miami a little out of sorts offensively. Again, if you're going to get the ball inside to Nasir Brooks, he's got to decide to go soon. Wasting too much time. You don't want your big guy dribbling around the free throw line.
A great pass. Bamisil finding Mutts for another easy 2.
Nice dime. Good movement by Mutts. Again, Olaniyi caught sleeping. Definitely got to see the ball at all times.
Hadn't been larger than a 5-point game for the first 30 minutes, and all of a sudden, a 9-0 run for the Hokies have opened things up. Bamisil swatted it out of bounds, but they got him for the foul. And Miami will get some much-needed free throws to try to snap a long drought. Great passing today. 20 assists for the Hokies, who lead by 11 on the road.
Treat yourself to $7.99 Sundays at the Fresh Market, featuring bone-in New York strip steak and wild North Atlantic lobster tails. Our steak is aged for maximum.
There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, shining at the end of every day. There's a great, big, beautiful
When you're ready for your tomorrow to begin, start planning at DisneyWorld.com.
Up and away, Jansen.
How about this for a finish?
I just want to be the best.
From the oldest rivalries to the most
Normally, Virginia Tech is the one that's disrupting teams on the offense, and I think in the last 5 minutes, Miami has done a better job of limiting Virginia Tech on what they want to do. They have not been able to exploit getting the ball into Aluma and being able to capitalize on the other end.
Make it a 2-possession game. No, he missed it. So the Hokies could tie it with a 3.
Again, looking at where they are, Virginia Tech, you've had success with getting the ball to Justyn Mutts. Allow him to be able to get something on the perimeter and penetrate as you see the help.
Mutts passed up the 3. Pass to Aluma, juggled, hung on to, and Brooks fouled him. Under a minute to go. Aluma will shoot 2.
Nice penetration by Justyn Mutts. And again, this is a guy that is 6'7", 6'8", can put the ball on the floor and penetrate with control. That last time, dumping it off to Aluma, who's going to go to the line. Aluma shooting 72% from the line.
4 of 5 today. And the last miss at the line for Olaniyi was the first miss in the second half. Miami had been 17 of 17 from the line since halftime. Aluma coming off back-to-back games of 29 and 30. First Hokie with at least 28 in back-to-back games since Eric Green did it 8 years ago. He was ACC Player of the Year back in 2013. Aluma makes them both.
So Virginia Tech extending the pressure.
And timeout called. They had Walker wide open in the front court. Miami takes its final timeout with 57 seconds left. A little surprised to see the timeout call there.
Well, I think Jim Larrañaga wants to make sure, one, that they've got a good play, not so much to get the ball inbounds, make sure that this play right now, they go back to something that's going to get them a basket. Because as of late, Virginia Tech has been able to get the ball to Mutts. You want a good play. Again, I go back to the beginning of the second half. They ran up one play where they had ISO for Isaiah Young, a stagger for either McGusty or Olaniyi. Virginia Tech had problems with that. I want to make sure that we get a good shot, take our time and run and be able to get a two-pointer. We'll take a three if we get it, but have some success driving the ball.
It's been a quieter offensive game for Walker, as you see, but Olaniyi has nearly doubled up his season average points per game again. Meanwhile, Justyn Mutts has been phenomenal for Virginia Tech. I mean, if we go to overtime, he has a legit chance at a triple-double. He's got 19, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists right now in 34 minutes. And we got a lot of highlight packages for this guy.
Well, again, we talked about his ability to be able to finish and put the ball on the floor. I think that all afternoon long, he's been able to do a good job of being able to seal inside and be able to finish around the rim. A guy also that's been able to go in ISO and put the ball on the floor and take the bigs out, blow by them. When you look at the fact that his numbers have been impressive, not only with scoring, but you talked also being able to deliver dimes to get his teammates scoring opportunities as well.
Mutts' collegiate career began at High Point University in the Big South, and he transferred to Delaware, now in the ACC, and needing to defend. Hokies have one timeout left. Miami has none.
Virginia Tech, you want to make sure you defend without fouling and also turn around and put a body on your man for a block out.
Wong pestered on the perimeter. Walker gives it back to him. Shot clock at 8. Isaiah trying to create for himself. Now down to 2. Has to launch. Not even close. And that's a shot clock violation. 26.2.
Again, that's not a play that I really think that they really wanted, because you look at what BCB being able to not allow Wong to be able to get by him, contested shot. If you're Jim Larrañaga, I'm sure that's not the shot you really wanted.
Looked like Jim Larrañaga was just letting his players know they can foul here. Miami has 2 fouls to give. Signaling again. A lot of time left, though. 26.2 feels like a marathon.
I know Aluma's the guy, but I feel like I give the ball to Justyn Mutts and allow him to be able to either get a penetration or maybe some kind of a duck in.
Inside Mutts, the duck in, what a block!
What about the block?
Elijah Olaniyi with a swat of the season. And he hit the ground hard and he's shaken up. They did say it's Virginia Tech ball with 11.9 to play. No, they called a foul?
They called a foul. I don't know. I've got to see that one again, because I actually thought that was an amazing block. Obviously, you hope that Elijah Olaniyi is okay. And what looked to be an open shot, and you see Olaniyi comes over here. It seemed like there was contact on that left arm, but...
He's had shoulder issues all season long, so
great defensive play. There was contact, but about the play recovery by Olaniyi.
Talk about going all out.
Wow.
Giving up the body. Looks like he's going to stay in the game, too. But now Justyn Mutts, who at the free throw line is 2 for 3 today. Free throw shooting has not been his greatest strength this year, 51%. And he's got 2 at the line with his team trailing by 1. And remember, Miami does not have a timeout. First one ties the game at 71.
Again, if you're Miami, you've got to turn around. Aluma is one of those guys that's very good at crashing the boards. And Bamasil as well. You want to make sure that you block out.
For the lead, no. We're tied. Miami can look for the final shot to win it. Ahead, it's McGusty with 5. Back to Wong. He'll shoot the 3. Good! with 2 seconds to go. Timeout called. And Virginia Tech finds itself on the verge of another heartbreaking loss, courtesy of Isaiah Wong.
Oh, what a shot, Evan Lepler. Well, I thought that Cameron McGusty had an opportunity to penetrate, but then he opted to get the ball back over. And right there, I thought he could have gone in and penetrate. Opted to give it to Wong. And then how about Wong with the 30-footer pulling it up? Money from behind the arc. Oh, my God. You see the play again. Walking into it. Late recovery by Aluma, not wanting to foul. Isaiah Wong coming up with a dagger.
Say he had been shooting the ball 28% from 3 for the season until a few games ago, and now including today, he's made 11 of his last 21 from deep, and none bigger than that one. They added a few tenths to the clock, so Virginia Tech, Brian, has to go the length of the court in 2.4 seconds. They need a 3, and the luxury for Miami is they still have a foul to give.
Well, and there's always the debate at the end of the game. If you're up 3, do you foul or not? And I think that if I'm Miami, Coach Larinaga, I tell him that, hey, as soon as you get the ball, you stay at home. You make sure that you don't foul until right before they get over the half court. Foul and then force them to take the ball out.
I think here you only foul if they dribble. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you look who's on the floor, then you've got 3-point shooters.
Well, Jalen Cone has been absent. He started the game, played 5 minutes. We haven't seen him in the second half. Bamisil, the freshman, is going to inbound, looking for either Mutts, Olaniyi, Aluma, or Cattoor. No timeouts for either side. Hokies down 3. Pass to Aluma, knocked away by Olaniyi with 1.7 to go. And they're going to review it to make sure it was last touched by Miami, which gives Mike Young an additional timeout to diagram an inbounds from midcourt if it is indeed Hokies basketball.
And absolutely, you want to make sure if you're Mike Young that your guys are dialed in here, because I've been on the other end of this, because again, sometimes you can have teams that can be deflated, and you see as they review it, you see Olaniyi come over, and from the angle that I see, it seems like it may be off Olaniyi, but I'm not sure whether it could have gone off of Aluma as well.
The difference in the game right now is a 3-pointer from Isaiah Wong, who's got 16 of his 19 in the second half. Assuming this stays Hokie ball, they'll have a chance.
See, after a closer look. Oh, wow, I'm not sure. Well, I'm assuming that they're going to keep it. It's going to be Virginia Tech ball, but if you're Miami, you make sure that you guard that 3-point line. You switch everything and realize that I'm still under the impression, Evan, I may try to foul on the pass.
Well, now Beatty has replaced Bamisil. He's going to inbound. Dengak with his long reach, greater than 7-foot wingspan, will try to disrupt the entry pass. 2.1 on the clock. Hokies need a 3. Beatty gets it in. Cattoor, a good look. Ties it! And we're going overtime on the 3 from Hunter Cattoor at the buzzer.
Oh, my. What a play and what a shot.
One great bucket from Isaiah Wong deserves an answer, and Hunter Cattoor with the response. 5 more minutes on the clock.
And you see the good play by Aluma setting up Hunter Cattoor. Olaniyi late, Hunter Cattoor stepping up and knock down that 3.
Hey, is there any chance Cattoor stepped out of bounds before taking that 3? I don't know if we can see that again. He was really close, and a Miami player was pointing to the sideline to indicate. I mean, I don't think that's reviewable in this last second. This first step.
Yeah, you know what? They did miss it, because you see the right foot there. But I'm not going to lie to you. What a great basket by Hunter Cattoor. You saw that play was set up by big pick by Keve Aluma, and you see right there the right foot stepping out of bounds. How about the clutch 3?
And Miami didn't defend that well. I mean, going for the steal, falling over, he had a wide open look.
Well, if anything, if you're Miami, you would have wanted both guys to go out. A 2 would have hurt you. But now, you know, we joked about neither one of us had any place to be right now because we got later flights. Looks like we've got 5 more minutes.
Well, these teams played 3 overtimes last year, remember, in Blacksburg. Jim Larinaga said it was the only 3 overtime game he's ever been involved in his career. A 3 for Wong with 2.4 to go, and then Cattoor ties it at the buzzer. And we've got overtime here in Miami.
Again, if you look in the huddles of both teams and where are we going? For Virginia Tech, I still think that if you double Aluma, you ride Justyn Mutts. And then for Miami, you've got guys in Mugusty, Olaniyi, and then Isaiah Wong.
Hokies look to draw first blood in the overtime. Mutts backing down Walker. No call. Mutts gets 2.
Nice patience by Justyn Mutts. And you saw Walker trying to opt for that foul. I like his patience being able to finish. And again, a lot of times you ride the hand that's hot. And for Virginia Tech, Justyn Mutts is that guy that can get the ISO.
Ryan, this is just the second overtime game in ACC play this season. NC State Clemson went to overtime back on January 5th. A month later, bonus basketball, and the Hokies up by 2 with the ball coming up for the steal.
Interesting to see if Mike Young continues to get the ball over to Justyn Mutts, realizing that he can get him ISO'd in one-on-one. And he can win that battle between him and Anthony Walker.
Won it over and over again. 22 points for Mutts. Cattoor tried to entry to Aluma. Mutts is going to take a 3. Rebound Wong. Mugusty had the hot hand in the first half, cooler in the second half, and a pretty good look right there. Wouldn't go down.
I like the move and the penetration because, again, I think for Miami, you still want to be able to spread Virginia Tech out and penetrate, not fall in love. They've hit some big threes, but you don't want to fall in love with that 3-point shot.
Aluma kicks it. Cattoor. Not this time. Walker the rebound.
That last time Keve Aluma he had one-on-one coverage. I think he was so used to being double, he didn't realize that was an opportunity maybe to go one-on-one against Monsieur Brooks.
You can just see from the body language of both coaches, they really want this game. Nice take. Strong contact. Mugusty will get to the line, and Aluma picks up, I believe, his 4th.
Nice recognition by Mugusty being able to come around and then go right to the basket. You see, again, Aluma a little late turning that corner. A lot of times you want your bigs to hedge out to be able to buy some time.
Aluma did not have any fouls in this game for the first 25 or 30 minutes, but now he's got 4 here in the overtime. Big free throw miss there for Mugusty. Just a 3rd miss in 23 tries for Miami. Makes 1 of 2. 18 for Mugusty.
Virginia Tech runs a little screen-to-screener action. You either get that over for Aluma or pin down and try to get Mutts on the block.
Here's Mutts again. Great spot blocked by Brooks from behind.
Mutts losing that ball right there. Had the advantage against Walker. Good help by Brooks to come over and get that block.
Key defensive play. Mugusty, little step back, gets his balance. Won't go, but Brooks creates another possession. Walker keeps it alive. Wong versus Olaniyi. 3 in the air. Beanie the rebound.
Again, I know that's a shot that Wong can take. But again, I still like to see him being able to penetrate. And they've had success as being able to get downhill on a right-hand penetration. You're playing right into Virginia Tech's hands by throwing up that 3.
Here's Olaniyi on the drive. Kicks for Cattoor. Airballs it. Wow.
We've had, going into this overtime, both teams making big plays.
And the 2 guys who hit 3s in the final 3 seconds of regulation coming up empty on their long shots in the overtime. Mugusty again. Back outside Walker. Walker with 5 to shoot. Trying to create something himself on Mutts, who fouled him. Oh, just brought the arms down just enough to get called for the foul. It's going to give Walker.
And Justyn Mutts played solid defense. That last time, he only had to stay solid. You see, being able to move his feet, and then you've got Walker shooting an off-balance shot. You do not want to bail him out.
That's exactly what he did. And Walker ties the game at the line. 1:28 to go. We're still tied. 1 of 2 from the line for Walker.
Virginia touch. You try to get in something inside. Again, see how they're going to play Aluma. Mutts has been that guy that's been able to get inside at will.
Open man's Beatty. He'll take it. Feel like Jim Larinaga's okay with that shot.
Yeah, and again, you force Wabisa Beatty to beat you. Every time the ball goes inside, I would double team. Again, from Miami, you want to run some kind of pin down on the opposite side and try to get a penetration.
Wong and Walker playing a little two-man game. Walker taking it at Mutts to the basket. No. Battles for the board. Still free. And it is Virginia Tech basketball.
That last offensive possession by Miami, you had an overload. Too many guys on one side, and you see the penetration, and you see both teams fighting for the ball, scrambling. That last time, it seems like it may have been out on Anthony Walker.
Yeah, I thought he touched it with his back on the line. They could look at it if they want, but it's currently Hokies ball with 39.8 remaining. We are still here because of a couple gigantic buckets in the final seconds of regulation. Auguste leaves it for Wong. This with 2.4 to go, made it 71-68, or 74-71, excuse me. Cattoor at the buzzer, nothing but net.
When you look at it right now, as we see deadlocked with under 40 seconds left to go. Again, both teams have struggled in the overtime of being able to find points. But then when you look for Virginia Tech, the guy that seems like he's been able to get the ball at will is Justyn Mutts.
Virginia Tech certainly feels like they should win this game. Aside from needing a buzzer-beating 3, I mean, they've led for 33 of the 44 minutes of the game. They were up by 11 midway through the second half and fouled Miami three-point shooters twice in a 4-possession span. Miami made all the free throws. That was a 6-point gift that the Hokies gave the Canes, a big part of why we're still here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that when you look at it, if you're in the huddle with Virginia Tech, sometimes you got to use your best player as a decoy. There have been a couple of times where they've been able to use Aluma because they realize that Miami is adapted to double teaming him. I use Aluma to lure them out and get the ball to Justyn Mutts on the short wing, allow him to be able to penetrate, understanding that if Miami comes to double, then you've got Hunter Cattoor, somebody that you have maybe on a backside screen to get him wide open.
Hard to believe that with 15 minutes to go in the first half, the score was 2-0.
Yeah, again,
the scoring's picked up since then.
It most certainly have, and we joked the fact that by it being a noon start, that both teams are going to take some time to wake up, but this has turned out to be a good game. And if I'm Miami, I'm looking at it and saying that if they go inside, we double immediately off of Wabisa Beatty. Stay home on your three-point shooters, especially Hunter Cattoor.
Although it is worth mentioning, Brian, the scoring has slowed in overtime. It's 2-2 in the 4 minutes and 20 seconds of overtime, and they've added half a second back to the clock. 40.3 officially, and a 76-all tie. Hokies basketball with Aluma, Cattoor, Olaniyi, Mutts, and Bamisil. Miami's got Wong, McGusty, Walker, Olaniyi, and Brooks. Hunter Cattoor running the offense to the elbow. It's Mutts, give off to Olaniyi. Little teardrop for 2.
Nice shot being able to get Olaniyi to his left hand. And if you're Miami, I don't know if you run this down all the way and take the last shot, but you've got to get some kind of penetration.
Hurricanes do have a timeout. Wong making a move with 10. Kicks it. Olaniyi steps inside the arc on the runner. No, it's an offensive foul. 6.6 seconds remaining.
Evan, I've got to see that one again. I'm not sure whether I thought Cattoor was there, especially on the penetration. I thought that Olaniyi had a shot right there, but opted to still go. That's a close one for me. I'm not sure that he was set. Again, I would have liked him to take that one dribble and shoot right there. And I just don't think that Hunter Cattoor had that left foot established.
They give the foul on Cattoor in the backcourt. It's only the 7th team foul of the second half in overtime. But Cattoor is an excellent free throw shooter, 82% on the season. Take another look at this block charge. There wasn't a lot of contact, Brian.
Yeah, again, watch the left foot right there. I don't think that Hunter Cattoor had that foot set for him to be able, for that to be a charge. I mean, obviously, I'm sitting up here with you, and I'm not down there, and I don't want that job. But I still thought that Jim Larrañaga has a huge case for that to be called a block.
Now, you've got the easier job, just to give your opinions without much ramification.
Absolutely. Well, there's a lot of ramification. I'm going to hear from my wife.
1-and-1 here. Makes the first. Miami does have a timeout.
If Cattoor makes this one at Miami, you want a quick 2.
Well, it's a 2-possession game. Mike Young yelling not to foul, and Miami's going to use its last timeout, and a tall task here, needing 4 points in the next 4.4 seconds. And you have to go the length of the court here, too.
So if I'm Mike Young, I tell my guys, okay, we're going to play with them in front of us. Don't give them just an easy look, but we want to go ahead and defend without fouling. If I'm Jim Larrañaga, we run some kind of quick play to try to get a quick drive. We'll take a 3 if we can, but we need a quick score. We can't use too much clock.
Wow, a lot to unpack in this ball game. I mean, the Hokies have 5 in double figures. The Hurricanes have 4. Olaniyi, Wong each have 19. Magusti has 18. Mutts is the game's high scorer with 22. What's the deal with Jalen Cone? That's a question for Mike Young going forward. Is this just today, or did something get tweaked, or what? But he's only played 5 minutes.
To be honest with you, I don't think that you read too much into Jalen Cone not playing well. We talked about Joe Bamisile coming in off the bench and the game that he's had.
Yeah.
I think that Mike Young just opted to go with the best guy that was playing better.
Magusti throws it length to the court. Justyn Mutts has been the star. He picks it off, and the Hokies win. Virginia Tech survives and prevails in overtime on the road at Miami, 80-76. The hero shot from Hunter Cattoor beat the buzzer in regulation, and Virginia Tech was the better team in the bonus segment to prevail and bounce back from Pittsburgh on Wednesday night. Wow, what a game, Brian.
Yeah, I think that it was a lot of back and forth. Virginia Tech had a